Here's how we're going to start, and what better day than today to start this way. You get to turn to your table mates, and you get to decide if we were to go on vacation anywhere. Money is no limitation. This COVID stuff doesn't exist. Right? There are no limitations on time, finances, people. Where would you go and what would you do? Got it? Be ready to report out. Ready, set, go.
That's a fun question. It is a fun question. Yeah, I might be able to just pick one place.
Time is no limit, and money is no limit, and life is endless.
Let's go with that. I like that. I like that.
Everywhere?
And without stress.
That's not a sufficient answer, Laura.
There are no limitations, so I'm going for the...
Okay, even in considering everywhere, what about top? We'll go to 3.
Okay.
Where are you going to go first?
Okay, so since we were on vacation earlier in February, and one of the things I would like to do is I would like to go to Haiti on like a missionary trip to help with, it's called Love Takes Root. It's an orphanage that a friend of mine, or a acquaintance of mine, started, Dr. Wilkerson, in his life. And I could spend a month or 6 weeks there helping them build their playground, or, help with the school, or help with the musical instrument. I would go there.
Wonderful. Laura?
Haiti. I would go Haiti.
I'll squeeze mine in right away.
Okay.
She's a contemplator.
I've got a complexity of plans.
Yeah, because I know there's just some of the wonders of the world I would want to see, like the pyramids or Stonehenge or Paris. So I think right away or the Colosseum. I got like a few that I would just love to do. Knee jerk, I would probably I really want to see the Colosseum. I'm heading to Rome, I'm seeing the Colosseum.
And if those walls could talk, think of the stories they could tell.
My ultimate bucket list is actually Jerusalem too.
So, my first answer, immortality and everywhere. My second answer is places where I have contacts, because it's fun when you know people. So I have a friend who's in Prague right now. I go to Prague to see her, and I know people who have ministries in Africa, so I could go visit.
All right, let's come together as a group, and we're going to start at that table
To
right
an orphanage and us.
Where are we going? What are we doing?
For starters.
Yeah, that's not the end of
Unfortunately, you
the
didn't
list.
hear from me again. I guess I've been nominated by the table to report on our travel plans. We are ready for Great Vacation. We've decided that we want to leave no stone unturned. So we're going to hit the east coast of the United States to take on a bunch of cultural sites. We're doing London. We're going to Paris. Sadie has a Marie Antoinette thing going, so we've got to do Versailles. We're going to Zanzibar. We're going to hit Bali. We're following social media the whole time. We want to know what's trending, flattening the curve. Then we're going to hit anything we've missed before we come. Is that the plan we're looking for?
I am all in.
Okay. Yeah.
Love it. Where are we going over here? What are we doing?
You want to speak?
We're going to start with Haiti and do some mission work out there. Just get into the soul of some good, wholesome service work.
Yep.
Laura has friends in 2 locations, one in Africa and another one in, was it Prague? I don't know where that is, but it sounds pretty. Where's Prague?
It's in Europe.
Europe. And I was teeter-tottering between just some of the 7 wonders of the world. So I would love to see all of them, from Stonehenge to the pyramids. But if I had to go right away, I'd go to see the Colosseum in Rome, or probably Jerusalem as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm all in. Pack me in. Where are we going here? What are we doing?
We're going everywhere.
Everywhere. All of it.
Yeah, we just kind of did individual things. We didn't realize we were making a trip together.
That's okay.
So
It's all good.
we're all just going to go as individuals, I guess.
Yeah, that's okay. That's good. As long as there's an umbrella in your drink, we're good to go. Okay. Where are you guys going? What are we doing?
Well,
But we had Alaska as a common.
Oh, yeah.
place, and so maybe even Amtrak in Canada.
I love it. Both things I would like to do. Yeah, and you realize you hit a place in your life like, I should probably get going on that, or life is going to be done, and I haven't gotten where I wanted to. What about you guys?
So Beth, Sarah, Allie, and I each talked about our own, and the common theme was that we would want someplace new, we would want someplace warm, and we would want someplace that was picturesque. And so the ideas that we had aligned on were Africa, Greece, Belize, Israel, or Florida, and then the common theme was.
Good old Florida.
We are crushing it today. How about here? Where are we going? What are we
Well,
doing?
interestingly, we both wanted to ride bike across the country, and mine was Ireland, and hers was Europe. So
We'll start in Ireland.
Yes. That sounds amazing. So what I would encourage you to do is keep dreaming. We can't let sometimes the overwhelming, dizzy, busy of the day get us so drugged down that we forget to dream. And another good point for those of you that are parents or grandparents in the room is to be sure that we allow space for our children to dream too. That we don't get too busy in the day-to-day, dizzy, wound up in the moments of the tasks and the to-do lists and oh my gosh, do we have toilet paper and hand sanitizer? Right? Like we have to allow ourselves space to dream. If we don't dream, we can't be or step into our best, right? We are creative beings. We are creative beings. And I also offer you that these beautiful thoughts that you just had are places that you can take yourself throughout the day.
Nice.
It's okay to check out at work and imagine or plan where it is you want to go and what it is you want to do. You have to keep that spark going. You have to practice it. You have to put it in deliberately into your day sometimes. Does anybody journal? Yeah, if you're a journaler, what a great space every day when you're doing some journaling that you go ahead and you add a few notes to your dream vacation or whatever it is that you aspire or achieve to do or be. So keep that dreaming going. And dreaming and helps us and allows us to maintain good perspective, right? It allows us to maintain good perspective. And that perspective is what allows us to be really resilient in a VUCA world, right? A very VUCA world, volatile, uncertain, complex, and full of ambiguity. There's no doubt about it. And what's interesting about a VUCA world is that is actually a term that was coined out of World War I. And yet we're still using it and living it and talking about it more than ever in this 21st century. So I want to also offer to you that dreaming and keeping perspective is an ultimate discipline of leadership. So this idea of being a leader, this idea of being resilient is an absolute discipline to lead an energetic and fulfilling life in today's world. So for the purposes of today and for our time together, I want to offer you and invite you into this definition of resilience. It is my favorite definition, in part because it's simple, but there are also some key words in this definition that I want us to call out and talk about for a few minutes. So the acquired ability to recover, adapt, and grow from stress. So what are some words in there that stand out to you? Acquire. Here's what I love about acquire. Resilience is a skill that you can develop. We are all born with a certain amount of resilience, and we're not going to talk about all the psychosocial, factors that go into the DNA and et cetera, that go into building and hardwiring where we have resilience. But the point is you can grow it and build it at any stage in your life. And as you think about going to the gym and doing squats to get stronger, if you don't squat, you don't maintain your strength. So if we don't apply energy to our resilience, if you don't use it, you lose it. So it is something that you can acquire, build, and grow, and if we don't tap into it and make it part of our leadership discipline, you could lose a little of it. What other words or phrases in that definition are standing out to you? Recover. Oh, such a power word. This whole session is about recover. So a leadership discipline is that you provide space in your day, in your month, in your quarter, in your year, in your life to be able to recover. Because like that good old glute muscles on the squat rack, it is during recovery that we actually get stronger. So we have to allow space to recover, or we can't grow in our leadership. And by leadership, I mean you as a whole person. What else is standing out to you? Ability. And I love the word capability that sits along with the thinking of the word ability. We are all capable. And as a matter of fact, we are all creative, capable, and complete. Did you know that? Did you know that every person you interface with in this world is creative, capable, and complete? They have everything they need inside of them to be successful. Our job is to walk beside them, help them be resilient, and pull that forward. What else is standing out to you? What else are you seeing up here? Adapt. Agile, flexible, right? We got to be able to, what my son says is juke, right? He's 12, he loves football, and his mom, watch me juke as I go down the field, right? We got to juke. We got to bob and weave and adjust. Good. Anything else that's really kicking you?
Right now it's stress.
Stress, right?
Honestly, yeah.
Yes. And there are so many different forms and definitions and ways that stress hits us, right? Stress is like, we could talk about that probably all day. So many places and ways and definitions of what stress is. But today we're just going to talk about stress in terms of those things that are disrupting your best, which sometimes is ourselves. So I really want to foot stomp to say that it's a discipline, right? Everyone in this room is a leader. Every person in this world is a leader. And there are days that I believe we've got a little bit of a leadership crisis in this world. But remember, every day you get out of bed, your alarm goes off, you put your feet on the floor, and you stand yourself up, and you decide how you're going to lead your life that day, that moment, that minute. Absolutely. So there's paper and pen on your table. And I want to invite you into some thinking. Let's do a couple activities here to finish getting us warmed up and then get into this really simple, what I call 3-step process, just for everyday juking, if you will. So go ahead, grab your pen, and I'm going to give you 60 seconds to write down what are those challenges, those things that challenge your energy and your resilience on a daily basis. Just a hot list, as many things as you can think of in 60 seconds. Ready, set, go. About 10 more seconds. Those things that challenge your energy and your resilience on a daily basis in life and work. Okay, go ahead and add them up. What's the total number of things that you wrote down? Count up your responses. Okay? All right, ready? Draw a line in the sand. Now I want you to take 60 seconds and I want you to think about all of those things that support your energy and your resilience in your life. all of the things that support your energy and resilience in life and work. Go. About 10 more seconds. Get your best thoughts down on the paper. Reach deep into your thinking. Stretch. And as you're ready, go ahead and add up that number of items. So notice your compare and contrast. There is no right or wrong answer to this, right? There's no right or wrong answer to this. But what an easy way to do a gut check on perspective in life. Throw this little exercise in every once in a while, particularly when maybe your thinking is a little bit below the line. Like, what are all those things that are pulling and tugging at me, and what are all those things that lift and support me up? So when you're finding yourself a little bit below the line and you say, what are those things that support my energy and my resilience? You can look at that list and say, what am I not tapping into that I need to, that maybe I forgot about, or I didn't recognize or realize were so important in my life? So again, there's no right or wrong. You might have had more pluses and minuses, or more minuses than pluses. It doesn't matter. The point is that you've done a quick eval, that you've created a small micro timeout in your thinking and where you are today to make sure that you keep that good perspective. Because energy is a big thing, and I want to give you a moment to read the screen. If you've ever been in the audience where I've had the opportunity to be with you and speak, you know, this is a slide that appears in almost every single presentation I do. We must own our own energy, because that energy that we have is what radiates out into the world to the people who are sitting next to you at the table, to those family members that you go home to and you serve when the workday is over, you know, all of the clients and customers that you interface with. So keeping a good check on your energy and your resilience is an absolute to your capacity to be able to live a fulfilling and rewarding life. And I'm not talking about perfection, because that doesn't exist. But just most days, right? You're crushing it. You're getting after it, and you're doing all that you can where you are today, or what you can where you are today. So we must own our own energy. And I don't know about you, but do you ever have days where your energy feels like this? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a squirrel. Squirrels don't usually do that. And what's really funny about this picture is that my mother-in-law's name is Shirley, and her nickname is Squirrely Shirley. And I tell you what, there has never been a day in my life where I've seen Squirrely Shirley like this. So I have this ultimate appreciation for this idea of squirrel. And there's lots of squirrels, right? Every day. Like, pull my energy this way. No, pull it over this way. No, pull it this way. Pull it, right? Just constantly being pushed and pulled. And the thing I think we miss the most, team, is this. What is that? Space. It's white space. Where are you plugging in white space? Because we don't need this all new level of burden, kind of overwhelmed and busy, right? So create some white space. So what I'm going to offer you today is some thinking about harvesting, gathering, maintaining, sustaining your energy through white space. And it doesn't have to be a vacation that we beautifully just dreamed about. White space can come in the like 10 seconds at a time. right? We can frame up white space in as little as 10 seconds. So what I'm talking about is framing. Have you guys ever heard of this before? Or maybe you use it in your work? I bet you do. We have to frame the situation that's in front of us. Like COVID-19. Let's not worry about toilet paper. Let's worry about social distancing, right? Like we frame up the crisis or we frame up the stress that's in front of us. And this is really just about having strong self-regulation. Right? We gotta self-regulate. And the only person who can do that is ourselves. And we need good family and support like what we have, friends and colleagues in this room, to help remind us to do this well and to frame up reality that's sitting around us. And back to the squirrel piece, the other thing about this white space and finding the ability to maintain that good energy so that we have enough capacity. I talked about sometimes I feel like we've got a leadership crisis. Well, I also feel like each one of us at some point in the day or some point during the week might also feel as though we've got a little bit of an energy capacity crisis. We just get a little wore down. So how can we be sure to frame the stressors that are hitting us each day to maintain our energy and our capacity? So I want to talk to you a little bit about the nervous system. Who's been reading books or taken the emotional intelligence assessment? Right, EQ, we all know about EQ a little bit. Okay, so you're going to know what this is, right? So our fight or flight, right? We feel things first before we decide what to do with them. So this instinctual brain is always on. Like it's always on to make sure that we're protected and that we're okay. And, you think back to caveman days, whether it's a saber-toothed tiger or if it's the coronavirus, right? Like our bodies physiologically necessarily don't always know the difference between those two. So not only that, but we have all these mini stressors that hit us that compound, that feel like a saber-toothed tiger at the end of the day. So this guy is always on, it's always running and going, and if we can't create a little white space to tame it or turn it down, we can never get up into our limbic or our rational thinking. So I'm going to give you a great example of this and show you one of my greatest weaknesses, and it's road rage. Anybody have road rage? Thank you. There's usually at least one person I can relate with.
That was on my list.
It's on your list.
Yes, one of my
Outstanding.
morning commute. Yes.
God save me. So I will lose it on the interstate. Like, dude, where's your blinker? Did you not know I was right here? Or why can't you just let me in? Dude, I need to merge. I need to get on the 10th Street exit because I work at City. So my emotions will get the best of me, and I just have to take a deep breath and create a little white space because they're not doing it on purpose. Like, are they purposefully not letting me in? Really, Rana? Come on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let me just say bam and thank you. I swear they're doing it on purpose. So we have to realize and recognize that in this world we feel things first, and we got to kind of manage and regulate that a bit before we can ever jump into our cognitive and rational thinking, right? So when that stressor hits us with whatever that stressor might be, I want to say to you in a really simple way that our nervous system has one of two options. It can either ramp up and run, right? Or it can sit back and idle, okay? So the gas pedal is our sympathetic nervous system, and I always say your sympathetic nervous system has sympathy with the emotions of which my road rage cannot handle. And so my nervous system turns on, like foot on the gas pedal, go, right? And the parasympathetic is the brake pedal, like, whoa, slow down. They're not using their blinker on purpose. Like, just let them in, Anna, right? So we got this brake pedal, gas pedal, get it? Okay. So when we hit a number of stresses or a stressor that is of such great intensity, our body moves out of what's called homeostasis. What is homeostasis?
Even.
Peace, even keel, right? We're idling along. Things are smooth. Yep, things are smooth. And that's what our body likes, right? Our body doesn't like these big peaks in stress or really big lows going below the line. Our body likes things smooth and steady and strong. So, if we are feeling these blips of stress throughout the day, or one or two that are high intensity, and we're stepping on the gas pedal, I want to ask you what increases in our body? What things increase in our body? Cortisol. Keep going.
Adrenaline.
Adrenaline. What else?
Blood pressure.
Blood pressure.
Heart
Keep
rate.
going. Heart rate. We have experience in this every day in the community work. Yeah. What else increases? Keep going. There's lots.
Probably breathing.
Breathing. More shallow breathing. Yep. What else increases in our body and our mind?
Your muscles tense.
Muscle tension. And where do we usually get the muscle tension from stress? Where does it sit? Right up here, right? It's called the Bermuda Triangle. Right up here. Isn't it funny? As the day goes by, our shoulders get, like or here, then we start to hunch over. So then we've got our electronic devices and all of our computers, which is, from a physiological standpoint, contributing to our stress. So remember, every once in a while, like every hour, be sure you open back up, stand up to the sky. Really good. What else increases?
Tension.
Tension. Mentally, mental tension. So we have all of these things that ramp up and get going. What we want to do is recognize when it's happening and be able to put that brake pedal on periodically and when it means the most. So all gas and no brake leads to what? All gas, no brake. Burnout. You hit burnout. Has anybody in the room ever hit burnout before? Whew, that's awful. It is awful and very, very difficult to come back from. Very difficult to come back from. So I'll ask you to turn back to your paper, and I want you to think about something at work or in life, right? Work-life, is there really a difference? Not necessarily. That presses on the gas pedal. Go ahead and list some key things at work and life that really press on the gas pedal for you, that get you. There's some of those stressors that hit you, and puts the gas pedal on. List a few of them out. Now go through that list, and I want you to pick the one that means the most to you today. Like the one that's maybe grinding at you the most today, or the one that has the largest impact on your energy and your resilience overall. So just pick the one that feels most important to you today, or just kind of in life overall. And give that one a circle, a star, or whatever you want to do. And I want you to keep that one thing in mind, just a little bit in mind, as we move through some more content and talk through some more things. So I want you to have that sort of spinning and sitting in the back of your head a little bit. So if you would, there are some handouts on the table. If you would just make sure everybody gets one. And if you don't have enough at your table, let me know, because there are some extras up here. One more? You bet. So I'm going to give you a couple minutes to read it top to bottom. Go. this is what I call BAM, baby. Like 3 super simple steps that as we
Bam,
walk
baby.
through this today, you're going to be able to recognize some of these things that you do for yourself already. You're going to recognize maybe these are some things that you've learned in other places or other trainings and you've picked up. And you're also going to recognize that as we walk through it, it might feel a little bit clunky, but as with anything you practice, you will actually, you could go through BAM in the amount of a millisecond of time to manage your energy at any moment of the day. So, has anybody ever said to you, take a breath? Yeah. My grandmother was the person who taught me this. I remember having a complete toddler fit as a little kid, and I remember standing out in her beautiful flower garden. She was a German woman, right? German farm woman, grew up in the Depression, and she just loved flowers. She was that woman that saved every single Tupperware, every Cool Whip container, right? Yeah, she had, right? That classic. And I remember having this fit. I don't remember what the fit is about, but I remember her grabbing me by my face and saying, honey, you need to take a breath. She was probably saying it in part because if I didn't, I was going to like pass out or something. I don't know. But it was in that moment in time, just being a grade school girl, that I recognized, wow, that really felt good. That was helpful. Thank you. What she did was drove a wedge in my thinking, right? She's like, let me disrupt you for a moment from your reptilian brain and let me help you pause for a minute to get into your rational and your cognitive thinking. Wow, thank you. So I want to liken that same kind of story, but flip it a little bit to athletics. Who is this?
Usain Bolt,
And he is
fastest man in the world.
fastest man in the world. That's exactly right. And what is he doing right here?
Breathing.
Getting ready to run.
Yeah, he's taking a deep breath before his butt goes up and the gun goes off. Where else in athletics do we see people take a deep breath like this?
Free throw line.
Boom. Where else?
Pitcher's
Swimming pool.
mound.
What's that?
Pitcher's mound.
Pitchers, yes. Quarterback. If you ever watch a replay, you can see that quarterback nailed it, right? So all it is a moment of self-regulation, taking that heightened, wow, stress, thick air of the moment and deflating it, self-regulating, level set, boom, I'm ready to be successful. That's all it is self-regulation.
Nice.
So I offer you this other thought to the power of a breath. It allows us to regulate our response through rhythmic respiration. So what I'd like you to do for 60 seconds, making you do all these things for 60 seconds today. There's a lot of power in 60 seconds. Is I want you to count your number of respirations that you take in and out. Okay? 60 seconds. But what we're going to do is do it in a shorter amount of time, and then you're going to take it times 6. So we're going to do it for how long?
60 seconds.
10 seconds. This is a brilliant group.
Okay.
Okay, so everyone gets to just quiet for a moment and center yourself into your inhale, exhale, and I want you to count the number of full respirations that you have in 10 seconds. Ready, set, go. And take that number, that's 10 seconds. Give yourself your 60-second number. So what's interesting is that homeostasis number, what they'll say is that rhythmic breathing, that nice and smooth in and out, in 60 seconds, you're looking for like 10, 8 respirations in and out. Sometimes you'll take that number, right, and you'll be like, holy crap, I was 26. Or I was 17.
Times 6.
So again, there's no right or wrong, but what I offer to you is that if you can take that deep breath and you can slow all of that down inside of you and you can get yourself to this nice, smooth rhythm in and out, you are going to find what decreases. What decreases? tension, cortisol, adrenaline. So I offer you today that the power of your breath is probably the single most resilient and energy power that you have. Right? So who's practicing this today? Like, I just got to throw in a deep breath. Anybody? Yeah. How about yoga? Any yogis in the room? You are masterful at this. So we could have, so if you want a resilience class, we need a yoga class to teach us how to breathe. Like, seriously, we're not going to go through that today. That'll be a, YouTube it. But that breath and that regulated, just really putting that nice rhythm into your heart rate and your breathing rate is an incredibly powerful tool. I can't stop that enough today. So what it does is it decreases the gas pedal, puts on the brake pedal, and allows you to do a timeout to frame what's going on around you, right? That's the whole idea. Frame this stress up. Third world problems. So that's something I say to myself every once in a while. Like, really, Rana? Come on, gain some perspective. So, yeah, just reinforcing that. And again, just to put something that breath just allows you to enable instead of having that higher level thinking disable by that heightened emotion, that deep breath and regulating that rhythm in your breathing lets you get up into your best thinking, right? Your best thinking, where your best self sits. So the attention piece, I always talk about emotions are neither right or wrong. Has anybody ever looked at emotions? Right? Emotions aren't right or wrong. So it's okay for me to be mad as hell with my road rage. Like, that's not really right or wrong. What's right or wrong is what I decide to do with it. What's right or wrong is what I decide to do with it. And so we have two choices. We can either react or we can respond. And respond is just more of that proactive, collaborative way to look at things. So as you look at your sheet, there's something under attention that I really, really want to foot stomp. So really foot stomping, taking a deep breath, and then we're going to focus our attention. And there's something that's sitting in that aware, accept, assess, and act that is an incredible call to action that's just as powerful as that deep breath. What do you think it is? Identify your emotion, totally, very much. And there's something that goes with that.
Tame it.
Assess it.
Boom.
Tame it.
You gotta name it and tame it, right? I gotta name and tame that road rage because I don't need to get in an accident. My husband will kill me. He's a firefighter. Like, what? And you're like, no. You gotta name it and tame it. Take a deep breath, and then you gotta name it and tame it. So awareness is the hardest part. Being aware of what's going on inside of you is the hardest part. So a challenge question I have to you as you leave today and you think about owning your own energy and building and maintaining your best energy is, how are you going to recognize that in yourself? How are you going to know when that emotion has maybe taken the best of you or that it's starting to come up? So tell me really quick, what are some ways that you recognize that today?
Start to get tense.
Start to get tense. What else?
Response from other people around you.
What do?
They react in a negative way.
So it's kind of like holding up the mirror for you, right? Yeah, emotional intelligence, being aware of the emotions of others around you, how you're affecting others. That's awesome. How else? Let's hear one more. How else do you become aware, you identify, to step inside yourself a little bit?
I get it like a real rush of like, oftentimes for me that shell of fear or resentment will be just covered in anger. So I'm really snarky and sarcastic.
So, yeah.
You know, just snap.
Yeah.
Just quick, like how
Yep.
the writers.
I really love how you just described that though, because you described it as this shell of something that's sitting around you, but it's not authentically who you are or what you're really about. It's just that moment.
Yeah, like it's just easier to be angry for me than fearful and just showing her.
For sure. No one wants to be seen as inadequate. Yeah, absolutely. What a great example. So we accept it. You're fearful right now. And we assess, so we have to decide, how am I going to name that and tame it so that I maintain and secure my own energy and I don't put that all over the people that are around us. And I want to share with you that this works in both ways, negative and positive. So at the City of Sioux Falls, we do what's called colors, which is just a temperament assessment, like what color are you? If you're gold, you really like rules. If you're green, you're analytical. If you're blue, you lead through emotions, and if you're orange, you're high energy. Okay, so I have a lot of orange. And I can't put my orange all over people all the time. They don't necessarily want that. I mean, maybe standing before you today, I can really smack out the orange because that's how you deliver, a good message. Or if I'm teaching a spin class at EmBe, I'm spitting out some really good orange. But in my day-to-day conversations with people who maybe are more blue or more green, I can't just put that raging orange all over people. So it does go both ways. Like, name it and tame it, Rana. Yeah, for sure. So taking a really big deep breath when that stressor hits you so that you can look inside and you can name what's going on. And that deep breath helps you physiologically calm so that you can emotionally tap into that best thinking to tame it. So there's this thing about inner voice that I really wanted to share with you today. And I want to play just a really quick video about the inner voice. And as I pull it up, I want to share with you that this is Dr. Jim Lohr, who is, I've adored him for years, and he runs an organization called the Johnson & Johnson Human Performance Institute. And he just has some amazing research on resilience, which I'll tell you about just a little bit after playing the video.
How helpful is that private voice? Is it a voice you would be proud to have displayed on a wall, particularly during tough times? How does it speak to you? Is it really a coach that is really giving you very strong, positive messages that help you, or is it actually working to break you down, to actually cause you more grief, more pain, more stress? And once you begin to realize that that voice is almost always saying something, and then to begin to take more responsibility for how that voice is actually speaking to you, and to realize that this voice will be the only voice that's with you until your death. We want that voice to be someone who is a contributor to your life.
So what are some key things that you just heard him say?
I like that it was displayed up on the wall. Would you be okay with that?
Yeah, take it out of your head.
How does it feel about that being displayed up in full?
What a great way to build perspective to how you're talking to yourself. Yeah. What else did you hear him say?
I like that he said that this is the only voice you'll have with you for the rest of your life.
The first time I listened to that video, I was like, oh, that's what got me the most. Like, oh, yeah, my grandma holding my head. Yeah. What else did you hear that was powerful?
Essentially, is it constructing me or deconstructing me, building me up or breaking me down?
Yeah, absolutely. So this inner voice is critical to your resilience and to naming it and taming it. How to make sure that you gut check that inner voice. Is it positive and above the line thinking, or is it potentially negative at that moment and below the line thinking? So do we ever go below the line?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're human beings. The point is, we take a deep breath, we name it, and we don't stay below the line very long. We just don't stay there very long. We build ourselves up above the line. So one of the research studies that really kicked him off, he's got lots of books and lots of great YouTube videos, is studying tennis players. So imagine this for a moment. If you've ever watched tennis or you played tennis or watched Wimbledon on TV, Chris Evert Lloyd was my favorite growing up. And you'll notice that they call like a quick timeout and they're holding their racket and they're like fingering through the strings. Do you know what I'm talking about? He started to study those people. Like, what are you doing? And what are you thinking about as you're fiddling through those strings on your tennis racket? And what he found out is that they are doing what we're just talking about. They're level setting the inner voice in their head, taking a deep breath and coming back with that victory mindset. And that it only took you guys, get this, 17 seconds to move the needle on their thinking. Today, research will tell us you can do it in 6. You can take your thinking from below the line to above the line with a deep breath, name it and tame it, in as little as 6 seconds, which moves the trajectory of success for you. Whatever or wherever it is, or it might be a stressor that might be hitting you that day. So the last part of BAM is to move. And as you look at your card and you see up here, there are multiple methods of movement. So what are they? You can use your card to cheat if you want. We're moving our body physically, but what else? What other things are we moving? Connection. We're moving towards other people. So when we are under moments of stress, what is it that we really want to do? Talk. We want to talk it out with somebody. So through every moment of the day, you're probably having mini mental health sessions with people. It's really what you're doing. Yeah, that's part of the human connection. We have to get rid of some of that. It's busy up here. You gotta blah, 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 you gotta get it out. And once you've talked it through with somebody, where do you find yourself feeling? Calmer. And in addition to that calm, you also typically have a sense of clarity. Because you've been able to straighten through the spaghetti that's going on up in your head, and you've got some clarity. That's really what it's all about. So the other thing that you'll see on the move is water, right? Why would I suggest that you drink more water?
You drink enough, you're going to have to get up and move.
Seriously, that's true.
Cheers.
Yes. Cheers. Cheers. Okay, gang, a couple cups of coffee a day, great. Overdoing it on energy drinks or having lots of coffee, no. Does that do the stimulants push on your gas pedal or your brake pedal? Gas pedal. And we have enough gas pedal pushes throughout the day. So just be careful of that. Be really careful of that and cognizant of how much of that you're using in order to stay up and keep going. Because in the long run, you're going to put yourself into burnout sooner versus later by overdoing some of those stimulants. So water, connect with other people, and you got to physically move your body. And remember this too, I've been talking about 60 seconds all day. Just 60 seconds of movement along with a deep breath can significantly decrease all of those stress hormones and that tension in your body. So while sometimes we think, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm going to get to the gym today, at least get 60 seconds of movement in a few times during the day. So it is not uncommon for someone at the City of Sioux Falls to find me in the handicapped bathroom stall doing squats in the dead of the winter because I just need to move a little. Like I need to get some blood flow to my lower body because you sit so much in desk jobs, right? So every time the phone rings, stand up. Take a walking meeting. Every time you are replying to emails, if you don't have a sit-to-stand desk, get that keyboard on a cardboard box and at least do step touch while you're working away at things. Do something that's moving your body because remember it is through exercise that you're going to clear those negative hormones that are sitting in your body, the negative emotions, and it's also going to reduce all that muscle tension. So a tip to that is intensity is your key to reducing stress. So if all you have is 15 minutes, use it get after it. You're not going to make yourself puke, but if you like to do that, that's great. But get after it for a few minutes. Push that heart rate, bump it, make yourself really challenged in that workout. So I'm going to skip over this slide. So the last thing I'll leave you with is to map out something that you can predict that's coming your way, that's going to challenge you, a stressor that you know is coming. I just invite you to write on the paper, what is something I can predict that I know is going to be difficult for me, either today, maybe it's a conversation with your mother-in-law tomorrow, maybe it's a meeting you have to step into. I just encourage you to predict for a moment something that you know is coming so that you can say to yourself, when that hits me, I'm going to remind myself to take a deep breath, to look inside, name it and tame it, and move myself towards success. Prediction is a great way to maintain your energy because you know these things are coming. We're not blind to them. And you also know how you're going to typically react in situations that get you. So predict it. Put yourself on a plan or a path to stay ahead of it or be ahead of it.
That's a nice slide.
It's going to take practice. So tell me if I'm right or wrong. The more time you spend practicing resilience, the better you're going to get at it. Yes? Yes. Absolutely. Repetitive practice is what it sounds, repetitive. I want to invite you to think about something practiced differently, and that's deliberate practice, which is the activity I just invited you into. You predict what's going to come, and you deliberately practice what you're doing. And that is the differentiator between getting to mastery quicker. Deliberate. Be purposeful and focused in what it is that you want to practice in your energy and resilience. And you will find mastery comes much quicker, much stronger. Awesome. So, if all else fails, just remember to take a breath. If anything, remember to take a breath. You guys got this. Thanks for your time and letting me dedicate you in.
Thank you, Rana. How much did we all need that today?
That's good.
So we have just a few minutes left for
what about
questions.
it?
My question is, do you have the BAM tattoo somewhere?